notice if there's any resistance, that sensation of feeling that you need to be doing something different. And that's okay if you feel that way. Or maybe you're just ready to fully drop in. And wherever you are is perfect. Just breathe to whatever sensations you're feeling in the body, in the mind, the heart. And use your breath as a tool to move the awareness around your body. As you breathe, feeling different areas of the body expand and soften and release on the exhales. Maybe it feels like too much to ask to expand the breath. And if that's the case, just enjoying a more subtle, soft breath. And begin to feel the earth pulling you deeper towards its center. And giving permission to anything that might feel heavy or too much or something that you want to release. Allow that to lift up and out of your body, out into the ether, the spaciousness. And slowly begin to curl your fingers and towards your palms, lifting your hands, bending your elbows, and eventually placing both hands on top of your heart, one hand stacked on top of the other. Taking a moment to connect to the energy of your heart. Notice the sensations. It may feel like waves of different sensations and emotions, or maybe a consistent energy or feeling. Just being the loving observer of your heart for a few more breaths. Notice the sweet beating of your heart. This beautiful circulation of blood, oxygen moving in, nourishing your cells, carbon dioxide leaving the body, releasing old waste. As you notice this reciprocity happening in the heart, the giving and the receiving, take another moment to set an intention around that. What do you want to receive? What do you want to release, forgive, or let go of? And releasing any attachments or expectations as you release your hands wide, just giving that intention up to the universe, letting it show up however it shows up. Beginning to reach your arms past your crown. So arms are still on the floor, but you're pointing your fingertips towards the door. And then bring your legs closer together. And you're pushing your legs into the bolster, lifting your hips up off of the floor, wiggling the hips a little bit. Release the glutes, shake the hips out, and then place the hips back down. Take your arms to, let's actually take the heels of the palms at the front of the hips, the ASIS, front of the hips, and fingertips pointing towards the pubic bone. Bend your right knee and then open up that leg, that right leg. So you're making kind of a number 4. The right foot is touching the inside of the left knee, fallen tree pose. So starting out with a gentle hip opener before we go any deeper. Just taking a minute here to connect with your hips. And on your next inhale, sweep your arms along the sides of your body, so like you're making a snow angel. And reach your arms back overhead, straighten out that right leg, Lift your hips again, shake out your hips, your glutes. And exhale, release your hips down, sweep your arms back down, and the heels of your palms are at the ASIS, anterior superior iliac spine, front of the hips, and then the fingertips pointing to the pubic bone. Bend the left knee and place the left foot to the inner right knee. So just a gentle piriformis hip opener type stretch. And for this minute, just taking this time to send your hips some appreciation. Gratitude for the hips opening, supporting you, and just the basic things like walking. One more time, sweeping your arms wide, like you're making a snow angel on the floor, straightening out that left leg, reach into equal and opposite directions, point through your toes, really stretch out. On an exhale, roll over to your left side and help yourself up. Yep. And we'll come to Badakhanasana, so feet together and just shaking out the legs a little bit. You'll take your bolster, set it on top of your legs, yep, and hug it in and just bow forward. You can stack your fists if you want for your forehead or just let your head kind of release down. And gently encouraging the inner thighs, adductors to open and release. And if at any time it's too much, you can get rid of that bolster. Couple more minutes, allowing the breath to really fill up towards the back of your body. The back of the lungs are expanding, kidneys are inflating. And just notice any resistance in the inner thighs. You can work with that by lifting and lowering the knees slightly. And then waiting for that invitation from your body to surrender and go a bit deeper. Super slowly coming out of this. Using your hands, press down onto the floor, the bolster, and slowly stacking the spine. We'll remove the bolster and then just sit in a basic cross-legged position. Just like a short meditation, like 30 seconds. Just feel what that pose did for your hips. Starting to wiggle around for our next pose. Let's put our shoulders for a little bit. So we'll take the bolster. I'm going to give you a couple options, and you can always change it. So here's one option. It's a lot of extension for the cervical spine, so you could keep moving the bolster around. Some days I like that one better. Some days I like this one better. So you can try both. This actually for me today feels better that way. So you can try both, and I'll time it for 3 minutes. Just starting to get some stretch through your chest and your anterior delts, and your knees can be bent, or the legs can be straight, legs could be together or wide. So playing with different positions with your legs to see what feels best. And with this being a heart opener, again, bringing attention to the heart space, noticing, again, if there's a wave of energy through the heart space, or if it feels more linear, or maybe a little both, and just enjoying the presence of witnessing this beautiful movement and awareness of your heart. And halfway through, noticing perhaps any thoughts that come up that influence the sensations and the energy of the heart. Perhaps not becoming too attached to any of the thoughts or how you feel that the heart needs to show up, but just surrendering to what is. Inhale, feel the energy of the heart expand out through your arms and your fingertips. Big inhale there. On an exhale, start to wrap your arms over your heart space, giving yourself a hug. Doesn't matter which arms over the top. We'll switch in a minute. And allow your fingertips to connect with your shoulder blades. And thanking your heart for loving as it does, for all the emotions and capacities that the heart holds that reminds us that we're human and human being, releasing the human doing. Next inhale invites the arms back open to share the beauty of the heart, loving, gratitude, compassion, and then exhale, other arm over the top, same thing, maybe hugging a little bit deeper this time, a deeper embrace to your own humanness. And begin to roll over to your right side, helping yourself up. And we'll do one more deep stretch before our yoga nidra practice. So, take your time, and we'll go into a deep pigeon. This one all time, this will be our longest held pose other than our shavasana, so 5 minutes. So let's start with right leg forward, left leg back. And then you can use your bolster as a pillow here. You can put it under your hip if you want. Yep. And you can always adjust as your body starts to release. So again, last pose other than shavasana, where you can really dive in. Good 5 minutes. Noticing in time, the body changes, the mind changes, the heart changes. And just riding that wave, like where could I go now to support myself, my body, just continuously checking in a way to honor where you are. Last 30 seconds here. Notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders, your face, your jaw, your tongue, your eyes, and just allow yourself to take a couple more exhales where the exhale empties out through your mouth and you can just soften a little bit more. And then begin to walk the hands under the shoulders. Help yourself up here. We'll focus on stretching the hip flexor on that left side. So use your right hand for support. Push into your right leg. Lift up and stretch that left arm as high as feels good for your back, for your hip flexor. And one more option. Release that left hand down. Look over your right shoulder. That might be a good stretch. You might want to stay there. If you want to add a quad stretch, reach back and grab the foot. And then release the left leg, tuck the toes, and inch that left knee forward a couple times. Send your right leg back. We'll kind of release in that hip before we go to the other side. Some circles, one way and then the other way. And then releasing right knee down. Left knee comes forward, and then the knee goes wide, externally rotating at the hip there. And then slowly inching your way in, starting more supportive, whatever that looks like for you. And then moving the bolster as needed. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you need a block or anything, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I like slowing down these days, so it feels good.
I'm feeling really itchy.
Itchy, okay. That's interesting.
I think that's, which I was really focused on, like releasing like energy that's not serving me. So I feel like a lot of that's just coming out. And so my skin is like on fire.
Like you feel like a need to like actually itch your skin or scratch your skin. Interesting. It's probably just a different way of the body releasing.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know, like
But
our
I just
pores
like
are just.
feeling like I need to like move.
Yeah.
Kind of
So there's like an angst there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think with like big events like what you have going this week, there's probably this sense like there's a lot that needs to be done and I need to do these things. And so it's a little bit harder to slow down, you know. But the thing is about slowing down is that when you create that space, you can take on those things a little bit more mindfully, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, you know, like a forward thinking or a future thinking thing. It's like, oh, I have this space and perspective to like really go in, like what's most important right now. Like a lot of the little things you can just, you know, there might be details that I don't know, really aren't that big of a deal, or like trusting that it's all going to work out and come together, you know? So, yeah, that's my take on it. I don't know if that helps, but like, so.
For sure. I just never felt like that form of energy release before.
I haven't either. I've actually never heard anybody say that, but like, it would make sense, you know, like your skin being the biggest organ of your body, and like, it is porous and it's constantly like, you know, if people get rashes or break out or anything like that, it's a sign of your body releasing something, you know? So that makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. Now I know, like in the future, if somebody says something, I'll be like, that's happened before. Probably just part of it. Yeah, we all like process energy different, you know? So
usually I like get really hot and like sweat and I feel like a little bit of like a tingle.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And it's so like we're so layered, we're like onions, so it's like there's so many different things, like the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the subtle body, the energetic body. In yoga, there's so many layers of that. So sometimes a certain part of ourselves will kick in, like to release or to bring attention to, you know, and so the space is what helps us discover like what is that or what is this, you know, being curious and asking questions. And I think the shavasana that we'll do here in a little bit, it is my experience is that as I scan the body, um, different information arises. So you might get more answers if you ask the question when we get there, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. So just about a minute here to see if you can settle in, wiggle the shoulders a little bit, relax the face. Breathing into the sensation. So a lot of times there's sensation that asks us to move out of it. See if you can sit with it just a little bit longer. And noticing if it's a sensation that needs to be sat with, or if it's actually an invitation for you to move in a different position. Coming to the in here, just a big inhale through the back body, and open mouth exhale. And help yourself up. Push through your left hand, and then the iliopsoas, that big hip flexor, starts at T12, comes down, attaches that inner upper thigh bone. So we're focusing on stretching the back extension, helps lengthen that muscle. So reaching the right arm up. And place your right hand down and look over your left shoulder. If it sounds inviting to bend the knee and grab the foot, great. If not, just leave the foot down. And then release the foot, swing the back leg around this time. And we did some circles. Let's do them on the side just so that hip gets the same type of attention, just in a different position. It might pop a little different. And then let's do the other leg one more time. Actually, yeah, so we already did that leg. Let's do this leg. Circle around the side. I'm like, that didn't make sense. Tried to do something different. All right. So let's get into that Shavasana position. If you want another blanket on top of you, let me know. And so here we go. We'll go into this meditation and just notice what comes up. I'm going to show you the position and I'll be sitting up. So if you have questions or want to call me over the side. So again, coming to where we started. Lying back, arms pretty much at a 45-degree angle. And then you're just getting into that deeper relaxation. So Yoga Nidra is primarily just a body scan. And so you're practicing just like you would practice dance to get better at dance, or lifting weights to gain more muscle, or run to become a better runner, to build cardiovascular strength. Meditation is also a practice, so it becomes easier to drop into the more you do it. But know that wherever you are right now is perfect. Usually people don't start out being like in bliss and complete relaxation when they start meditating. It's a process, it's a journey. And that beginner mind, beginning student is such a beautiful place to expand from. And it makes that practice, or that, if you want to call it an accomplishment, it's not really a word we use normally in yoga, but getting to that place where it's easier, or you feel more skillful at it. The struggle at the beginning is like what makes that end point even more beautiful, I think. So wherever you are, just settling in. And this space to me is where the magic happens. It's beautiful to allow thoughts to come and go, and even if you go off on a tangent with your thoughts, that's fine. But the space is where a lot of intuition can come in, a deeper awareness to your own truth, and understanding of who you are, and the deeper questions in life. So if you would like to start with a question, you can do that now for yourself. Think of something that you're curious about. If you don't have a question, that's okay. And again, letting go of any attachments to receiving an answer. Just allowing yourself to go on this journey of self-observation. Starting with the crown of the head. A connection to oneness. Soften the muscles of the forehead. temple, the left temple. Relax the space between your eyebrows and your eyes. Sinuses open and release. Upper jaw, lower jaw, and tongue. Surrendering to gravity. Muscles of the throat relaxed. Back of the neck softens. Right shoulder through the right arm. And the fingertips become heavy. Left shoulder, shoulder girdle, the shoulder blade. Start to release extra responsibility, adulting. Same with that right shoulder. And feel that release of letting go through the left arm, through the fingertips. Both arms, shoulders, heavy to the earth. Center of the chest softens. Upper back releases. Abdominals relax. Lower back relax. Right side of the hips opening, releasing all the way down the right leg through the right toe tips. The left side of the hips opening, releasing. Moving the energy out through the left leg as you relax the bones, muscles, through the toes, both legs heavy to the earth. muscles melting down. Scanning the body a couple more times, up and down, up and down, until you are completely and fully relaxed. Just noticing how you feel, not judging that. Wherever you are again is perfect. Deepening the breath to bring more energy into the body. And allowing that breath to fill up your belly. Just noticing how when we place the body in deep relaxation, the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. So you can think of, that's what I thought of when I was driving up, the beautiful aspen trees. That's like our nervous system. And you're feeling the nerves moving throughout the body. You can visualize this, and maybe you can actually feel it. And it's stimulating and opening up and bringing energy to the whole body. We also call that the nadis in yoga, the energetic channel. So you think maybe it feels more energetic, maybe it feels more physical. I'm just noticing how you feel. And beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll over to your left side when you're ready. Making a pillow with your arms, bending your knees when you get there. And just pausing for a few more breaths in nurturing pose. A pose of new beginnings, new opportunities. So again, connecting to that seed of intention that you placed in your heart at the beginning of class. Maybe you want to continue to think about that, or find something else, an intention or something you want to focus on for the remainder of your day. And keeping your eyes closed, press your arms into the earth. Come back to a seated cross-legged position. If you always go to the same way with the same leg in front, I know I always do, go ahead and switch that out, trying to bring some balance to the hips. And then high five your heart. It really does take courage to slow down in a world that constantly asks us to be producing, to be doing, to get to the next thing. And so just thanking your body, your mind, your heart for creating some space in your day. Notice the expansion of energy in your body when you appreciate yourself, when you love yourself a little more. And have a beautiful rest of your afternoon. Namaste. Kind of hard to open the eyes. So, right. All right. Hope that was kind of what you were looking for.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that's exciting. Are you getting married here at Snowbird?
No, I'm getting married. I'm from Lockton. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
getting married up there.
Oh, cool. Nice.
We just drove down for the day.
Oh, sweet. Well, enjoy. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I need business cards to share with people because you can actually access me through Insight Timer wherever you are in the world. So I need to add this class to my live schedule, but I do a gentle yoga Wednesday mornings, and then I do have actual advanced practice, physical advanced practice Thursday nights.
I would love that.
Yeah, but yoga nidra would be a good one to complement like a hard class. But anyway, on Insight Timer, if you want, I will pull my name badge out because it's a tricky name and you'd have to search me back to find my classes. But I also have meditations on there, so I don't know if you have your phone. You can take a picture of it or try and remember, but I do have recorded.
Your name is probably at the front desk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, cool. Yeah, the yoga nidra that we did today was like an hour with some movement. The one I do on there that's recorded is like 7 minutes. Just you would just use it for like before you go to bed, or just like a 7-minute like chill session. You know, just kind of like okay, I need to just take a moment. So yeah, this was just awesome.
This was exactly
what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, it was so great.
Good. And I think too, when you're really active, and like I dance a lot, and like it's so dynamic, it's so like big and lots of energy that this is like a perfect complement to it. You know, just I feel more balanced when I'm doing both. So.
Oh yeah. Well, when you sit and like scan your whole body, things that you don't even know start to pop up, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
hey there.
I know. And it's funny, like the thoughts that come up, and like when I first did yoga nidra, I had this like question about my brother-in-law, and like as we were scanning and asking a question here and then here, and he's this way because and it was just like it was almost like this like unwinding of like, oh, that brings more understanding to,
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just one example of like a million of different scenarios that can come up while you're in that, because
Yeah.
it's just so slowed down that like other parts of yourself can have a voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah.
Today it's helped me process my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we've grown up like twins because we're sisters.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
so just like life changes and things like that. So,
The evolution of like life and like, yeah, we have those different times, and then like there's totally emotion around that. Like my daughter even today was like, she's here studying, she's 18, but she's like these emotions. And I'm like, yeah. And like they can be kind of chill for a minute, and like the next minute it's just like,
Yeah.
and another wave. And like throughout the day, like they can change so
Yeah.
much. And I was just telling her, like, instead of resisting, because I think she wants to be in this state of just like always being strong and like
That's
under
awesome.
control and like
That's me.
I've got this together.
Mhm.
And just to give permission to let it flow and just like, okay, like that's the feminine right there. That's like the ocean, like that's like hold space for that movement, energetic movement. The masculine energy is like, not that it's negative, but like the, okay, very direct line, very like, this is like, to me, music, even though it is dynamic, it's like the consistent beat is the masculine,
for sure.
and the like intuitive movement is the feminine. Like that's the like creativity and not knowing what's coming next and allowing that to be okay. And I'm just trying to help her navigate emotions, you know.
Sure.
I think too, like our generation, our kids, my kids' generation, you're younger, but like teenage age, they don't really know how to process their emotions, and they're maybe destructively doing things that like, you know, don't help that. And so like learning how to navigate your emotions and like totally feel and like, yeah, like you're saying, you're itchy. Like some people like want to just cry, or some people want to feel anger. Like we're not all going to feel like, oh, at the end, like bliss. It's like, oh man, there's some anger in me I didn't realize. It's like, okay, what do I do with this? Like, I can't resist it because that'll make it worse, you know? So like just working with it. So anyways, you're welcome.
Awesome. It's funny you mentioned like masculine and feminine energy, because I went and got face zoned on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And like that's one thing that she mentioned was like when she was, I can't remember what she was doing, but my masculine energy was like completely overriding my feminine energy, which makes sense because I'm planning a wedding and I'm trying to make everything go like a certain way and like all the things, and I just wasn't giving myself space for that like feminine flow.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that's what I've been working on this last week.
Yeah, and that's so great. And like I have always in my life put more value on the masculine energies, like getting stuff done. And like for me as like someone that works in the physical field, you know, like, and I'm a personal trainer, and like I remember this massage therapist seeing me at one point in my life where like early 30s, where it was like I was super lean and super like with like diet and stuff. And she was like, your masculine energy is like overwhelming for me, because she was super feminine, like more like curvy and soft, and like didn't really lift weights or do anything like that. And I was like, like there's something to that. And like there's a time for everything, and it's like not, that's fine to like be doing that if it serves you. But then I think as a yoga instructor, for me, I've always tried to like look for the balance, like where's that like middle road of like everything, you know, working with light and dark, feminine, masculine, like rest and pushing the body, and you know, like and all of it, you know. So it's kind of a fun thing to like navigate. It's almost like it's never just like, you know, and that's the beauty of life. It would be so boring if it was always like, you know, a certain way. And yeah, I just like, even giving myself permission, like we drove to Texas. I don't want to take up too much of your
No,
time.
we're here the whole day. Like,
Okay.
we scheduled out our whole day to
Oh,
be
good,
here.
good,
So we
good.
have nothing on.
Yeah, but it's like we drove to Texas last week, and it's like I'm not gonna do any like physical movement or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna eat whatever and like what just like give myself full permission, and at the end not do any punishing. Like, okay, now you need to do all these things to make up for that. And I was like, that feels so good to give myself the gift of like just have a free for all.
Yeah.
And don't worry about like trying to make up for that. Just come back to your normal like habits. And what I noticed is I didn't like want to continue to be lazy. Like I had this like natural impulse to be like I took a weight class this morning and then took a yoga class, and it was like I don't normally do that on Tuesdays because I teach here like 3 or 4 classes. So I'm like, I don't need to do anything in the morning, but like I had that natural impulse not to punish myself, but it's just like
you just kind of
I just want to, you know? And so that was just an interesting insight into my own self of like old patterns. And I'm like, oh, maturity of like, I'm like, I'm starting to make myself more of like my own best friend. And the more that I do that, like, the less I care about what people think, and like I'm just more at peace with my environment, And so I don't know, maybe it's just like getting older or something,
that makes perfect sense.
But it's like if you can learn that younger, that's even better, But sometimes we have to just learn it, like I said during class, it's like the struggle is beautiful too, really. Because like if you don't have the struggle, then getting to this other point, like it's just not as sweet, So I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, and I totally like connect with that because that's what my like last kind of 2-3 years have looked like. I'm still very young. Like I just really turned 21.
Oh, good
on the
for
20th.
you.
But like after I graduated high school, like I went down like the dark swirly tunnel of like, oh, I want to live this way, and I ended up with like disordered eating and like a whole mess. And so like working through that and like healing from that, like what you were saying, like just doing what you want to do, what feels good and fun. You want to do like you want to move your body and you want to eat like healthful things, and it's not like a try.
Yeah.
And it feels so good.
Yeah.
To not feel like it's like discipline. It's just like your life.
And that's the thing, like I think that as we give ourselves permission to feel more joy, more like love for ourselves, like you can see it in people, like you can, it's not like it exudes from their physical form, so it's like, and I was talking to a girl today and she was like, I'm really struggling with like losing weight here. And I thought like, I didn't get into it because we were getting ready to start class, but I was like, how much of that is like, just like embracing it, like, especially after you've had children, like, thank you. And like, thank you for, holding these children, and like her kids are younger than mine. And just like the stress levels of life and of course diet. I mean, there's all these different things to it, but like, it's like, can we like feel those parts that we've resisted and just like send it love, like, and I feel like then it's like you don't even care, like you don't care as much about like so what, there's a little more curve there, it's like such freedom for ourselves and like for those around us, and especially like if you have daughters, like being that example of like because like my daughter was pretty young when I did a fitness show in my early 30s. That's when I was super lean. And like, she was like, let's see, so she's 18. So she was like young. What would she be like? Okay, let me think about this for a minute. 8-ish. Yeah. And it was like, I didn't even talk about it with her. But like, I noticed when I was like preparing for this fitness show, and I was always in the mirror. How does this look? Right. And like all of a sudden, and I wouldn't let her see me do that, but I noticed she started to do that around that time. And I was like, I swear they pick up that energy, whether you talk about it or like let them see, like they sense it in you. And so, that's just like, And my daughter did struggle with that for a while, and she's learning, she's on the journey, which I feel like most women do, of
Oh,
like
yeah.
working through that. I love my body, and now like I'm judging it, and then I love it, and it's like, okay, like this is just part of it, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. But what kind of dance do you do? I'm curious.
I do commercial dance, so like both of us work like industry. So I did like she did like the Disney.
We've done some things with
what was it?
Disney. We've done some.
What do you do? You do like the Disney holidays.
Oh, I've done stuff like at Disney World, but then I also did like the Kids' Choice Awards one year.
Oh, I forgot you did that. Yeah.
That's
the
so cool.
Radio Disney Music Awards.
Yeah. So you've done like more award shows.
And then you've done.
I did like the High School Musical series on like Disney Plus.
Uh-huh.
And then I just did a movie in North Carolina in November, December.
Wow.
I did like, that's like the bigger things I've done.
Yeah, yeah. Is there like in Ogden, is it like an agency there? You work with an agency in Salt Lake, and that's how you've gotten.
So we
gigs?
have an agency in LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
That they kind of just like, hey, this
Yeah.
is a big, like this is big, this is worth
Yeah.
either commuting for, or there's a lot of stuff actually in Salt Lake
Yeah.
that
It's
So-
spreading out since
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Nothing is, there's not a lot LA based anymore.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a little bit, but it's a lot more spread out.
Okay. So are you both doing that for like your career? Like that's what you're planning on doing? Like for
the main thing,
yeah.
yes.
I'm a little bit of both. Like so I'm also a health coach.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting board certified right now.
Yeah.
So, for like my younger years,
Mhm.
I do want to keep dancing and like make that a career, but I do want like kids and I want a family.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
like traveling and stuff just is hard in that
Yeah.
aspect. So
Yeah.
I'll do it for probably a few more years and then I'm gonna get more into like my health coaching career. But
Cool. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, good. So good to meet you both.
Oh, it's so good to meet you.
too.
Thank you so
Of
Thank you
so
for
much.
joining
course.
me today.
Thank you. You know, just trying to see what comes through, and I don't know.
Well, you
Yeah.
are awesome. Your
Thank
presence
you.
is awesome. too.
Oh, thank you
It's
so
really
much.
nice.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll clean up. So just leave that, and then I'd love to see you both again sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, we are gonna have to.
Yeah, Tuesdays are my day, so
Cool.
I'm not here any other time except Tuesdays. So these afternoon classes, and then I do foam rolling and regular yoga. But so
Right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good luck
You were
with
awesome.
everything. Thanks.
Beautiful.